is something that is going to be emphasized in the next reporting period. Regional representation, rather than rely on central, we need to see a way of revamping active engagement at regional level. And then mentorship. And I challenge each one of you, if you've practiced for more than 2-3 years, who are you mentoring? Someone mentored you. Who are you mentoring? So we need to actively embrace mentorship in UCA. Allow me go to partnerships and strategic engagements. We have been at national level and at local level, so to say. At national level, we were sure not to be there as a statistic, but to influence things. At the Mental Health Awareness Month celebrations, this happened in May. UCA had representation and there was a panel discussion. I'm aware that Evelyn and Emmanuel participated in that. The Uganda Parliamentary Forum engagements, UCA was present. The Ministry of Health MHPSS guidelines, when these were being launched, UCA was present. And then the Uganda Human Rights Commission commemorations, UCA was present. This was in June. And I remember UCA advocating for trauma-informed care when dealing with people whose rights have been violated. And then I mentioned something to do with the psychology board development. Our key partners are those. The list is long, quite long. But those, and the problem with name dropping, everyone is looking for their name or their workplace.
You know that.
But of course, the Ministry of Health, whether we want it or not, it will be there. The Ministry of Education, the Ministry of Gender, Strong Minds, and the rest. But I want to say that we appreciate Samuel Setumba. Please stand up. We wouldn't have the partnership, or rather collaboration, with Nation Media Group if it wasn't for him. And through that, we've been able to reach many people with information to do with counseling. Minet, is there a representative from Minet? Minet does not only hire a number of counselors, but Minet also was a proud sponsor for the just concluded summit. So, do you recognize that gentleman? Do you? That is Emmanuel Gita. That was at the Ministry of Education when they were launching the guidelines for mental health. And Gita is responsible for public relations. I believe he has done a good job. Please look at those numbers. X has 2,092 followers. Facebook has 5,800. LinkedIn, I forgot to put the number there. Gita asked me to request you today, please subscribe. Go to X, go to LinkedIn. If it wasn't a matter of time, I was going to insist that each of us gets their phone, but I will not be such a dictator. Please look within yourself and find the time to follow. There's lots of engagements that goes on that we need to be able to be privy of. The next steps for also to inform you that the website has been revamped, and very soon you will see the database of counselors up there. By subscribing, or rather applying to be a member of UCA, you inherently allow that your name will be published on the UCA website. We want to weed out people who are calling themselves counselors. Service providers, consumers of our services should be directed, and that is information we shouldn't shy away from, to tell someone, you go and check on the website. If the name is not there, then it is on you to engage that person. Okay? So make sure that your best friend's name is here, because by virtue of being here, you have paid. And then next steps is to increase media visibility, member engagement. Member what? This in itself is an example, and there are faces that have been here consecutively. Unfortunately, the people who are here consecutively are our elders. The young people, I don't know where we are. And that is why we give you 1 month's notice. So please note that the next AGM will be the last Friday of July next year. Mark off that, okay? Your calendar allows you to go so many years ahead. Mark off that, because you only make decisions when you come here. But then people don't come for this, and then they are the very people who ask questions on the WhatsApp group and expect instant responses. So to increase member engagement, strategic media partnerships, and branded promotional items. Make sure you buy a t-shirt. We may not have t-shirts for everyone today, but the next time, as the board rocks their shirts, you should also rock your t-shirt. Even if you have a dress, you can put it on, at least while you're here, and then as you leave, you can put it in your bag. Finance and Secretariat, I put these together because they go hand in hand. But finance, we've done a good work keeping UCA money intact, but also spending when we have to spend and being accountable. We have our management report and auditor's report show that we have a healthy financial position. The report from the auditor was unqualified. An unqualified report is a good one. A qualified report is a bad one. And UCA has consecutively had unqualified reports. And then definitely we shall have to improve our accountability. This doesn't mean that there's issues, but to see how to do it efficiently. And that's why I talked about the financial management system that is being operationalized. I'll go to the Secretariat. Someone help me, call Flavia out there. The Secretariat is really for us to appreciate the contribution of Flavio Court. Flavio Court is the face of UCA. Flavio Court does office administration, procurement, she communicates with you, she liaises with you, and really coordinating so many things. We need to appreciate that. My first job after my bachelor's degree, I did admin work, and I appreciate administrators because there's a lot that goes in there that is not quantified, and much of it can be overlooked. So our challenges, inadequate finances to drive the strategic agenda. When I say this, I'm not saying that UCA did not have the money, but there are things that we could have done, maybe at national level, maybe regional level, but you think twice and you're like, if we do this, shall we have the money to do this? So those have sort of affected our operations. And then really, our digital presence has not been very, very good. We need to look at ways of revamping that. I see Emmanuel posts things, and there's only one like. There's only one repost. So how are people going to know about us? How will the government know about UCA if we are not in their faces? And then low member participation in association initiatives, really, really low. Sometimes the young people ask us, are you going to pay me? I've served on this board for 3 years and I have never been paid. And if there's anyone who does the running around, it is the general secretary perhaps. But I've not been paid. But at the end of the day, so ask yourself, am I making a contribution? And even if you are paid, it will never be enough. What you do can never be quantified. And then the growing need for counseling versus the need versus the supply. So we have, and one can argue that we have counselors who are looking for jobs, but some of these, sometimes we are called to undertake initiatives and there is no pay. But this time we're also putting our feet down and saying, if you want us to send counselors for a particular initiative, you have to give them lunch, you have to pay their transport. I am really one of those advocates of, if you can't give me a salary, even if it's voluntary work, do something. Especially people who call us. Otherwise, we are the ones that we teach people how to treat us, to think that counseling is a cheap profession. So we've put our feet down on some of these things. And then definitely national visibility, but we have a strategy for that. It is to be where we are meant to be at the right time, and to also speak to the right people. Strategic priorities for the next year include expanding PFA training. If you're here and you haven't attended the PFA training, what are you waiting for? It was free of charge. So maybe next year, in the next reporting period, UCA might put, no, it wasn't free of charge. Winnie is looking at me with an eye of, Vivian, what are you doing to me? They would have thought you actually ate the money, okay? No, but it was very modest, okay? So please be part of this next time. And then really to digitize membership, operationalize the CPD guidelines, to strengthen partnerships. If you know an entity that we can partner with, like Samuel Setumba, we did not go to NMG. He reached out and said, UCA board, you can make a very good partnership with NMG. It could be your workplace. If you know an entity that we can strategically partner with, please let us know. Okay, that's why it's important for you to know the values, the mission and vision, so that we see how we align. And then to establish, be part of a team that is establishing the counselors and psychologists board or other council, increase advocacy. Colleagues, advocacy is not the job of a board. Every one of us here has a duty to advocate for professional counseling. And then to expand regional outreaches. If you come from the East, do you know other people in the East? If you need to make a referral, who do you refer to? Or do you go to the main group? In Uganda, they will tell you, and you strengthen your collaborations that side. And then definitely resource mobilization. So for the fund that is in place, if God wishes, when you receive some money, you can just send 20,000. 20,000 is not little money, but it could allow someone to attend a meeting so that UCA shows up. Are we together? So don't wait to accumulate 500,000. The 10,000s are what will accumulate for us to get the 500,000. And then definitely welfare guidelines. Looking inward, really UCA to continue with this, stronger governance, expanded. Without strong governance, UCA will collapse. So you need leaders that are going to hold what has already built for 25 years. And not to preempt the election process, but for candidates, if you know that you're not going to be able to devote 30 minutes every day from Monday to Friday, then you're not signing up for the right thing. Okay, 30 minutes could be you looking at the WhatsApp chatbot. It could be you reviewing a document. It could be you responding to an email. If you think you don't have that time, please, you are going to stretch the board. Okay, so please rethink. You still have time to rethink. I'm not asking anyone to get off, but I'm saying that rethink. You need to dedicate time. We've worked early morning, we've worked sometimes late in the night, but that is how far it goes. And then definitely increase professional development, national recognition, and continued advocacy for regulation. I want to appreciate each one of you. So as you clap your hands, just clap for yourself. Each one of you, thank you for being part of this journey. I want to appreciate the board. You're not clapping for yourselves. The committees, thank you. The committees give birth to leaders on the board. At least that was a resolution that was passed. By the time you come to the board, then you know what is expected, rather than you just diving in the deep end. The volunteers, when we call on some people, there are people you call on and they will be like, I am busy, but I'll create the time. We want to appreciate partners. Partners, I am not sure who is here and who is not here, but as long as you're a partner, we appreciate you. Government institutions, they may not be here. I want to appreciate universities. All universities are trained counselors, but I want to specifically, appreciate Kyambogo University for hosting us endlessly. You do not get tired. And then development partners, many of them really. And before I take you to the gallery, I want to, the board recognized a few members, but the disclaimer to this is that we all do an incredible job, but there are people who stand out. Emmanuel Guitar is not here, but apart from being the youngest member of the board, he's also the vice president of the International Association of Counselors. And you can only get there because people are seeing you. So we want to appreciate him, and he's there as a vice president, but it is UCA as the vice president. You get the difference? Yes, so we need to really, he has a full-time job, he has UCA board issues, he has those issues, and he's a young man who should be available to date and do all those things, but he's devoting time. I want to appreciate, no, not on behalf of the board, is also to appreciate Mr. Adrian Kakinda. I don't know if he's online. Mr. Adrian published a document, and I've been following that particular document, and I'm sure other members. It has made it to different journals in a very short time. It's about school mental health. And why it comes up? Because many counselors have shown, a number of counselors have shown interest in school mental health. So please look him up, and in the report there's a link so you can click on it and get that document. I also, on behalf of the board, is to recognize the new doctor. We introduced her already. Well done, Winnie.
Winnie.
And on a lighter note, is it lighter? To give you some color. So please don't focus on me, eyes on the projection. So that is, I'm really giving you some color. So that was us after the financial training, financial management training. Mr. Don Chitabire, if you have needs as an organization and you're looking at someone to train you in finance management, I would definitely recommend him. He's the person who makes accounting look very, very simple, and it can only take intelligence to do that, really, and perhaps passion. So he's the gentleman next to me. Yeah, I keep telling my colleagues that I'm the only one who stood very well. I stood like a board member. And then that was at the 4th Students' Symposium, which was held at the University of Chisubi. And well done to the team that organized. Dorothy and the rest of the team from the sisters are not here, but we appreciate them. The 5th National Mental Health Conference. That picture was taken from afar, but UCA was well represented. I like how Emmanuel fixed himself in that picture, but he deserved it. And then this should be the last picture. But who remembers that? The summit. It would be very difficult for you to see yourself. Eh? But yes, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Owens Kanalisi herself, you stand out, and Gladys. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the work from the board. Thank you very much. Next is for you to, do we hear from?
Yeah, what do they comment?
And then Rachel, Dr. Rachel, will come up with the finance report. But for now, any questions? Any?
They still interested in the Constitution.
Yes. So for us to make meaningful contributions, I propose that Dr. Rachel makes her submission, really specific on finance, and then we react at once. Is that okay? So kindly write your questions so that you don't forget them. I will be back after Dr. Rachel. Projection, please, for the finance.
All right, thank you, Vivian. Okay. Guess what? I can even see myself here. Okay, good afternoon, members of Uganda Counselling Association. How are we feeling? Do you want to stand a bit? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Those chairs are very comfortable. Yeah, stretch a bit, look behind. Yeah, Jamila, you need it. Just a little bit. You may see someone who has come in before you started.
Not mine.
Okay. All right. We can now sit and talk about money. My favorite topic. I like to talk about money, and I think I told you last year. But I also like to talk about money systematically. It's very important that we have systems. And I've been privileged to work with the board and each one of you for this past year just to organize our money. That is really the brief. So thank you so much for coming, for attending. I will say good afternoon to our president, the UCA board, all of you distinguished UCA members and invited guests that are here. And it's my pleasure to present to us the Treasurer's Report for financial year ending 31st December 2025. This report will highlight the association's financial performance, membership growth, challenges encountered, and our financial outlook for 2026. And you will see that there was a good summary from the report that Vivian has presented. I'll try to be as fast as possible. So that's what we are going to be going through together. So the audit has been completed, and the figures presented today are extracted from the audited financial statements. So the association's account for the year ended 31st December 2025 were independently audited. And our key outcome was the audited financial statements present a fair summary of the association's financial performance and position for the reporting period. And our key financial highlights are presented in this report. And if you look at the report that was shared on WhatsApp as well and the other forums, we have been able to share at least a good summary. You need to know where your money is going, okay? You need to know what you're giving and how it's being spent. Please hold the board accountable. That's your role, and for us, our part is to give the account. So over the past 6 years, UCA has experienced remarkable growth in both income and program activities, although expenditure has also increased as operations expanded, stronger financial discipline during 2025, which enabled the association to spend below its income and generate a surplus. So what you see, I wanted you to see how our income has grown over the years, right from 2020. Do you see a difference? Do you appreciate the numbers? Just from 2020, our income was 37,724,000. Do you see where we are now in 2025? It's 141. You see? So that is really, and let's clap to that. Yeah. So, and the differences, if you notice, expenditures over the time, we've tried to make sure we cut. So if you look at 2020, we were spending more than what we're having as income. Today in 2025, you realized we have income of 141,785,553, and yet we spent 129 million. You see that? So we're trying to pay attention. So some key highlights: our income has grown significantly. Expenditure remained controlled during 2025, and the association achieved a healthy operating surplus. All right. So let's look at our assets. One of the biggest achievements this year is the transition from a deficit in 2024 to a surplus in 2025. This reflects improved revenue collection, which you have given, prudent expenditure management from administration and the board, and stronger financial oversight, which is led by the finance department to make sure we know what we are spending on, but also with a very good leader, our president. She oversees and helps us so much. So our total assets were 26 million. Our capital fund and reserves, 22 million. And then total liabilities, just 3 million. And we have a net surplus of 12 million. So if you see, we've tried to make sure we are improving. From 2024, there was a deficit of 2 million. But now, in 2025, we have a surplus instead of 12 million. So in our 10 more million coming in, and there's no deficit. Membership growth, I would like each one of you to see where you lie and see between 2024 and 2025. And these are people that we know are members, they're paid up. Those are the ones we count. But we know that there are so many other people that we have. So the doctorates, 16 in 2024. Now we have 19. So there's a growth there. 3 more have added on. And we hope for many more, okay? And you look at counseling psychologists, stroke clinical psychologists. We know that we now have the Clinical Psychologists Association, and we are very intentional about transitioning them. So we have 84 in 2024, and then 109 in 2025. That's growth. Counselors, 77, 183 today. Corporates and institutions, like all of you that have private practices, for example, FAJ, counseling and consultancy, and the others, we have seen some growth, from 26 to 32. Para-counselors, we had 0 in 2024. We have 32. Yeah. Students, 46. That has grown to 55 now. Affiliates, 33, and then 36 today. So membership is the backbone of our association. And we have registered really a substantial growth during 2025, with total membership increasing by 66%. And the highest increase came from professional counselors, while we also introduced and attracted para-counselors into the association. So we are able to see those differences. So total members in 2024 are 281. In 2025, we have 466. So let's look at our budget performance. The board remained committed to budgetary discipline throughout the year. Planned activities were implemented while maintaining prudent expenditure, resulting in positive financial outcomes. So let's look at some of our achievements, which are focused on our budget versus the actual. So the association generally operated within the approved budget during the year. This disciplined financial management contributed significantly to the surplus recorded in 2025 that I've already shared with us. And what worked well, expenditure remained within planned limits. Revenue collections improved from you, the membership, and other ways that we raise money. Financial controls were strengthened through the board leadership. Some of our challenges, while our financial performance has improved, we have some challenges. Heavy dependence on subscription exposes the association to financial risk whenever renewals decline. Yeah, so I think we can all note that, that if people don't renew their membership, it becomes difficult for us to have money. So that part of depending on membership is something we want to be thinking about very carefully. One challenge, membership subscription. Many members have not renewed their annual subscription. And today, this is July, ending July. Ask your neighbor if they have done their renewal. Tell them there's, pardon? Yeah. So, do you know someone who hasn't? So if you know someone who hasn't, you can send them a WhatsApp group message today to remind them, follow them up, and encourage them. We also have limited revenue sources. The association continues to depend heavily on membership subscriptions as its primary source of income. Sustainability, long-term financial sustainability, requires diversified funding. Remember, this is the report ending 2025. So some strategic recommendations that we have: diversify income sources, okay? Develop partnerships and donor funding, mobilize grants, organize professional trainings and CPD programs like we've been doing, but increase that. Increase consultancy services, expand conference and workshop income, okay? If you look at our conferences, what we charge is quite on the lower side. Maybe we may need to increase some. Improve membership compliance, encourage timely annual renewals. We would wish everyone to renew on the 1st of every year. That would be good. What do we think? Yeah, we can achieve it. Yeah, if we can. Okay. Strengthen member engagement, enhance subscription, follow-up systems. So, between January to June 2026, we just want to give you a little bit, for you, a picture of where we are today. The first 6 months of 2026 indicate continued financial stability. Cash inflows have exceeded operational requirements, leaving the association with a healthy bank balance to support ongoing programs. So our opening balance was 8 million as the year started. Our total income is 137, and total expenditure is 94 million. So closing balance as of June 2026 was 42,973,830. So what are we observing there? The association continues to maintain a positive cash position while implementing its planned activities during the first half of 2026. We have a work plan, we have a clear budget, and we keep checking how are we spending, okay? So, in the report, you heard about the investments that we make. So we have a unit trust investment that is in addition to our operational funds. The association continues to maintain investments in unit trust. These investments provide an important reserve for future strategic priorities. So currently it's 10 million, 15 today. Yeah, 15 million today. The significance is that the unit trust investment strengthens the association's financial reserves and contributes to long-term financial sustainability. So this is one way we are trying to invest the money to make sure we can get more, you know, and we are thinking of different ways. And you're welcome. All of us are thinking together, okay? So conclusion, our financial outlook. The 2025 financial year marks an important milestone for UCA. Some key achievements: return to a financial surplus from a deficit, increased membership significantly, maintained sound financial discipline, improved our cash position, and as we look ahead, with continued member support, diversified income sources, and prudent financial management, the association is well positioned for sustainable growth. That's what we believe, and that's what we are seeing, and we know it's possible. So I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to the UCA board members that have worked so hard to make sure this happens, the UCA Secretariat, our administration, our amazing Flavia, who does so much. And I know that earlier on, Vivian asked her to come in. We really would like to appreciate Flavia. Members of the Uganda Counselling Association, this is your association, and we would like to thank you for giving to the association. You've been generous, and we trust you will continue being generous. Our partners, that have worked with us over the time, and in the report, you saw Vivian mention them, and all members who honored their financial obligations, paying on time, and everything that you committed to. If you are coming for a training and you actually put in money, we appreciate you. So your continued support is strengthening the association and enabling us to fulfill our mission. I would like to thank you very much. All right. So, as you heard, when Vivian was talking about the different guidelines, we also have finance guidelines. And they are established, we finished them, they're signed. We would like to let you know that the way we run now, we want to, when we have our budget, our work plan, but we also have finance guidelines which guide the operation of the board and also the office. So if there is an expenditure, and maybe Flavia needs to make that expenditure, she needs to check what do the guidelines say. And that procedure has to be followed. So that monitoring has supported us to make sure that we know what we are having as income and how we are spending it. Okay? And so the guidelines are there. And last year, during the AGM, there were very good suggestions that came up in terms of how can we increase our income. And would like to thank, for me personally, I'm very grateful for people that founded UCA and actually showed us that you can use money that you have available to run so much. So what our role is as the current members is to make sure everything we hear out there that other people are doing that is increasing their money, that we can do that as well to increase our money. So last year we talked about a community development fund. And I would like to tell you today that we already have the document for the community development fund written here. Sorry, we haven't projected it. And would like to launch it today. The details, feel free, we will share it. In fact, we wanted to first launch it today to make sure that we share it. But what's the purpose of this? I'll just read for us the purpose. The purpose is that it was established as a sustainable financial mechanism to strengthen the association's long-term growth, resilience, and capacity to serve its members and the wider community. The fund is intended to complement rather than replace the association's operational budget by supporting strategic investments, professional development initiatives, emergency opportunities, and institutional sustainability. So it shall operate on the principle of transparency, accountability, stewardship, sustainability, equity, and collective ownership. Every member is encouraged to participate in building the fund as a shared investment in the future of the counseling profession in Uganda. And what's the objective of this fund is to build a sustainable financial reserve for the association, generate long-term income through strategic investments, support community initiatives and professional outreach, strengthen institutional capacity and future strategic priorities, provide financial stability during periods of reduced income or unforeseen circumstances, encourage member ownership and collective responsibility for the association's growth. It's a document that has 10 pages, so I'd like to present this to you, and we will share the full document. But that's the main objective. You asked for it last year, and here it is today. Dr. Vic, is your hand coming up? Okay. Because you are my teacher, you usually would know what your hand gestures. Yeah, so we have this document. It's been developed by the finance department. All board members have looked at it, given feedback here and there, and would like, it's our document, it's our fund. We are going to raise money and make sure that our fund has money that we can use for all these purposes. So I would like to request us today for you to adopt it at this AGM as a document that we can use and in accordance with the guidelines that have been set, and we will share the detailed document for you. So would like to thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rachel. To preempt item 9, which is about receiving the Constitution, Articles of Association, and different guidelines, I'm going to invite Elizabeth to say something about that.
Okay. Hello.
No. I could give you the line.
Okay, so to start, when we made a call at the time when we had the Chitezi intervention, you members blew us away with the contributions that you made. Actually, the contributions exceeded what was required for that intervention. When we completed the Chitezi intervention, that was the time when we resolved that we're not going to get this money and just put it in the pool. We're going to get it and grow it. And so that we don't have to keep going back to the members for, we want to do community interventions. You know, there you'd easily contribute money for Freeman's wedding. Where is he? I mean, if Freeman said money for a wedding, yes. But I mean, now you wouldn't want to keep going to members. There's a community intervention. These things just happen with no plan. And we couldn't keep going back to the coffers to get money for that. So that was it. So you did it because you blew us away with your contributions, and it created the birth of a fund that can support. So whenever we have interventions, some of you have participated. When we call you to go, we facilitate you, we give you transport. If they're not giving you lunch, we make sure you have something to eat. And there are some of those which are not so far away. Some of you have even been able to get even just beyond the facilitation, at least something to say thank you. And it all comes from that. So I just want to say I had to make that because that is a success that you did. And we celebrate you for that. The part of the fund, some members approached us and said, some here and some in the diaspora. And they say, but why don't we have something like this that anytime, like maybe someone may decide to contribute consistently. I can decide my 10,000 every month. So for 12 months, I'll give my 120,000 for community initiatives. So you might be here, you don't have to be in the diaspora, but you're here and you say, I'll give my 10K, I'll give my 5K, my 50, my 100. It will all go into that fund while it can keep growing as we wait for when the need arises. So please embrace it, and that would be good. And then, yes, we have had a big or long process. Our lawyer is not here, Counsel Ivan Ogola. We've been through a process, and that has taken us quite a while. And that is our Articles of Association and our Constitution. Without doubt, all these things that we are saying we are doing, community development and all that, they are seated in our mandate as a Uganda Counselling Association. By law, these are things that we are okay. It's not that they're being done illegally. The legal documents have been a process. Why? Because way back, that process it wasn't digital. So at the point when we said, by the way, these Articles of Association are obsolete, and guided by a lawyer, we cannot derive a constitution from obsolete. Obsolete meaning that they were based, the Companies Act had even been revised, and then also the period of time for which the operation had passed. So when we said now let's go and put them on to revise, the system rejected them. Now it's digitalized. So all our supporting things were not rejected that they were false, but in terms of we had to go and do a lot of back documentation, including to go and look for death certificates. And if you're in this system, you know what it is like when you have lost a loved one and you're trying to get a death certificate from the family. Sometimes you're misconceived or think you may use it for something else. But there's someone who we should still thank, Flavia. Her people skills we were just shocked at how some of these processes actually went. You know how you just negotiate with relatives of someone who you have never even seen or even you've not engaged with them. But I think pulling that off and trying to get some of those documents was done. Our lawyer did support us. Everything, all our resolutions, everything we needed is in the system. Only that by the time we actually got them through, the person in URSP needed us to work through one more document, a special resolution, which we did submit. And because she was out of office, we were not able to have it in by today. She has promised by Monday, when she's back in office, she's going to work through those documents. All of it is set, but guided by the law, we said, do not disseminate something that has not been certified. And we are going by that because it can be used against the association in the courts of law or anything that we say also. We've consulted, and so we have been a bit slow on that, just so we protect ourselves, but also it's protecting you in that regard. So I just wanted to mention those. You're hearing a lot of these guidelines and what. You may not digest it here, but following this, we're going to ask for your presence at a number of forum meetings. They'll have to have them one by one, and they would be actually done. But I just want to say justice to them has been done. Over to you.
Thank you very much. And to really reiterate what Elizabeth is saying is, there is several documents, but the AGM does not give us the allowance for people to look at them word for word. So this is the plan. There's going to be different forum meetings, and by forum meetings is Freeman helps to advertise or popularize it, and there's usually a topic to be discussed. So for instance, even if the Constitution is certified and we just throw it at you, I am sure many of you are not going to get the time to read it because it's not 2 pages. So the forum meeting will allow for a specific board member to dissect that document with you. Okay? We shall share the document, give you some time, and then meet to review the document. But as is, without them being certified, we can't share them with you because we shall go back to square one. Someone will say there's a dot missing there, that T is not crossed, remove this, and we shall go back. We can't get a document that is fully, that serves everyone's purpose. So kindly hold for that. Members, is that clear? Okay. And we also don't want you to just accept documents that you're not privy to. So that's the plan. But that said, there is a document Dr. Rachel talked about. We ask that it is passed today, as we allow. The disclaimer therefore would be that it is passed pending discussion at a forum meeting. So this is to invite someone who can propose and another one who can second. You could be thinking about that. But in specific to the fund, the Community Development Fund, Elizabeth, through you, please allow me appreciate and recognize Pendo Galkande. I am not sure she's online. This idea could have been fronted by many people, but Pendo really pushed for it. Does anyone remember? Pendo Galkande is a counseling psychologist who is doing her PhD in the US. She's focusing on marriage therapy. So let's appreciate her. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you've received the board report. The board report entails what I read to you and what Dr. Rachel. Dr. Rachel, why am I struggling with your name today? Because you're putting on a blazer. So what Dr. Rachel and I read out to you. So I'm here to receive questions while noting that we are 7 people on the board. Mrs. Lois, you had a question that time. Okay, shall we get a young person to help us? You are youth, that's what I mean.
Thank you very much. Can you allow me to sit?
Yes, please.
Thank you. My concern is about membership. But maybe before I go there, hearing what has happened over the years, I am amazed for the work which has been done over the years. I was the 3rd president of UCA, and that is a long time ago. We didn't have even a quarter of what is present now. Everything was being done in our homes, in our offices. So I want to congratulate you very much. Now, I'm going to ask this question out of maybe ignorance, or I'm not sure whether it has been worked on. My first question: who is a para-counselor? Who is a professional counselor? And who is a counselor? Is that clear for each and every member? When we started